Well, hello, fellow collectors. This is Crunchy Collectibles here. Today, my presents, I got Doctor Strange, 110 figure by Iron Studios. It is Polystone, with a few exceptions. You got a few plastic pieces here and there, for better reasons than not, for weight and breakages. But yeah, as you can tell, this is a pretty big piece. Kind of do a full spin here. Yeah, pretty big piece for a 110. I mean, all the size goes into the base. Of course, Doctor Strange is a pretty tall dude in the movies. So let's get a closer look here. So there is the face sculpt. Let's zoom in just a bit. Not bad, not horrible. Actually really good for Iron Studios. Seen a lot worse. Haven't seen much better. So that's pretty good on their part. Suit looks pretty good. You got a few little pieces here that might have been attached after, which is good because I'm not a big fan of fully sculpted pieces. Just because paint job can not be that great sometimes. But on this case, he looks really good. Closer look here to the back, which you probably will never see very often. And he got his hands holding up the, his magic pieces, whatever you want to call them. Spin it back around again. I like how the inside of his cape. They did a really good job making sure that all that's painted correctly. Let's get a good spot here with the light. Every single one of those squares has a little bit of a different piece painted on it. Fantastic job by the artists and the painters. You got little pieces of texture on his suit. Moving down to the base, mimicking like a skyscraper, like he's flying away from the buildings. You got his rings going all around the buildings itself. Just kind of showing you guys some of the buildings. For the most part, the buildings look pretty all well the same, except this main building here. You got the back side of it, if you're wondering. His rings are pretty basic. They just attach. They just attach in certain pieces, like right here. You can kind of see where it slides in. You got a little peg in there. Same thing with this top one, slides in here in the back. You don't notice it at all, but from looking at it, it looks like they're kind of just floating because they peg in on the back. And then it almost looks like he's flying, just the way he's standing. Got his left foot, elevated up a little bit. His right foot is just barely touching that. And then of course, when you put him away, like I'm supposed to look at him, from a little bit of a distance, he looks pretty good. So yeah, this is Doctor Strange. Iron Studios 110 figure. It is Polystone. They may have a couple of these available still. Might have to look around. They've been out for a few months now. I got mine from Collector's Zone. I buy a lot of my stuff from Collector's Zone, especially at Iron Studios. They have free shipping there. And if you join the Cantina, Collector's Zone Cantina on Facebook, he drops codes every couple of days. First come, first serve. And they range all the way up to 23%, depending on, if it's a holiday or what. Usually the cheapest ones being about 17, 18%. But when you're buying statues, especially if you buy a big piece like Sideshow or PCS, if you're into those statues, that can be a couple $100 you're saving. So, of course, he includes shipping. There's no additional fees, so his prices tend to be just a little bit higher than like Sideshow. But you gotta remember, that's including shipping and taxes. He has taxes included already. Just make it easier on everybody's part. And then when you put those discounts on there, it takes off the total price, not just the price of the statue itself. So it works out pretty good. Of course, those codes work for pre-orders and in stock pieces. So that's wonderful. So just kind of shouting out Collector's Zone and Marco's the owner, just because he's a pretty good dude. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about him. I thought he was a pretty good statue. I didn't want to spend, you know, too much money on a quarter piece for Doctor Strange, just because, I mean, yeah, he's a pretty cool character, but he's not one of my favorites. To be honest, Marvel and PC or DC just isn't, you know, something I like to buy a bunch of quarter pieces on, just because there's so many of them. And yeah, I mean, I do love Marvel and DC, but it's not my favorite line. My favorite line tends to be Star Wars or video game statues, like Assassin's Creed or, you know, Ghost of Tsushima or Horizon Zero Dawn, when you're looking at Prime 1 Studios and pieces like that. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe, comment what you guys think. Comment if you have this statue, or if you're planning on picking it up or picking up any Iron Studios piece. And enjoy your day. Enjoy collecting.